And here we go in depth with every detail on the Mos Eisley Cantina. My review is coming out very soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But this is set number 75290 with 3,187 pieces, recommended for ages 18 and up, but it's very weird because it's clearly a play set. I've said this many a time, so the 18 plus thing is merely marketing. However, I can see it causing some confusion where kids will be like, oh, I want this, but it says 18 plus, and that just kind of comes with a stigma that kids may think, oh, I can't get this until I'm 18 for real, and I think that that's bad, although I like the 18 plus idea. 21 minifigures total, which is a really solid number of figures, and the price for this is going to be $350, which I think is fair. We have Luke Skywalker, Ben Kenobi. Of course, nothing really striking me as important or completely new or different about these characters. Exactly the same. C-3PO here, Han Solo, maybe a slight update to that torso print. I'm going to have to get out my old figures and compare these, but it's Han Solo. It's nothing substantially different than any other previous version you may have. Chewbacca, R2-D2, a couple of Sandstorm Troopers, and kind of disappointed that LEGO is really sticking with their guns here with the newer style dual molded Sand Trooper helmet. I like the older style helmet a lot more. I think a lot of people do. But LEGO is sticking with the straight jacket helmet. Then we get 3 Bith musicians, who as far as I can tell, remain unchanged from their previous renditions as well. Nothing wrong with that, but it's just worth noting. We have Wuher, who is back again for the second time in LEGO Star Wars. Greedo here, which is maybe the biggest disappointment to me. I thought that LEGO would finally do Greedo justice in this set and give him arm printing, much like they did in 2004, and they did not. So, unfortunately, that 2004 Greedo reigns supreme forever. Apparently, they're just never going to give him the arm printing he deserves. And it's also worth noting that no minifigure in this set has arm printing. So, that may be a bit of a letdown for some people. Now, some people, myself somewhat included, do like the simplicity of some of the minifigures not having arm printing, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's kind of funny to look at the 2004 figure and then look at this one and feel like it's a downgrade. Next up, we have Panda Baba, who we're actually seeing for the first time in LEGO Star Wars here, and this is great. We're getting so many, and as we will continue to go on here for a minute, so many Cantina characters that we have never seen before. So Panda Baba, the first of many here. Dr. Avazan is going to be number 2 here, and he's the guy with the real messed up eye and nose and everything. Quite a guy there. Cabe? I don't know what else to say about Cabe. I'm glad we got Cabe, but Cabe's ugly. We have a Jawa thrown in here. Makes sense because there is a Jawa shop in the set, as we'll get to in a moment. Abria is the name of this character, which is not what I thought it was from the original leaked image that we got of the Mos Eisley Cantina, but still, nice to see those devil horns and everything. I thought those devil horns were actually going to be like the small little Lego pieces that they usually use for teeth or whatever, pushed into a piece on top, but no, that's actually like all molded in there, and that's actually really neat to see. I did not expect that at all from that character. Momon Nadone up next. I believe the mold for the head from this is actually being brought back from like 2014, so we have kind of seen this before, but now it does make sense that they're finally being able to put it to use for what it really should have been used for the first time to begin with. Really cool to see footprinting on Moma here, though. Hershek Kalfas is the next character, and this is a really good gritty looking character here, obviously kind of like Bosk, but just with a different color skin and outfit, obviously, so pretty neat to see that. And that is also the first time we're seeing him in the LEGO Star Wars universe. And then finally, the last character we're getting is one that a lot of people are pretty hyped for. The name LEGO put on the box is Garendon, but that's irrelevant. He's the Imperial spy, as most people know him. I'm very interested to see what's underneath that hood, though. Like, gotta take a look under there. I just don't know what the head situation behind the little mask thing that he's got going on is. So that's definitely something I'm curious to get into when I actually get the set. Now, speaking of the set, it does come with the dewback. I've talked about that in my previous rumor video. We've seen the dewback before. Makes sense to be in the set. Would have been nice to have a bantha. I definitely understand why there's not a bantha in this set. Now, I've talked pretty extensively about the exterior of this set in the video from the first image of this set that we got, so I'm kind of going to gloss over that here, but it still looks just as good now that we have very high-res pictures of it. It has some nice depth to it in areas. It's got windows, of course, for each of the little sections inside of the cantina to look out, or for you to look in if you want to peek on in there. And then a point of contention from that original leaked image and whatnot was the crystal piece. And I was calling it a crystal piece because it was the Lego crystal piece. Like, I saw that piece And I was like, guys, there's a crystal in the set. I don't know why there's a crystal in the set. And then everyone in the comments is like, no, Ryan, it's a hologram. It's a hologram, Ryan. What are you thinking? That crystal piece is a hologram. I'm like, dude, I know the Lego crystal piece when I see it. It's definitely the crystal piece in the picture. And it turns out, of course, it is a crystal piece. And in the press release, it says it's going to be kyber crystals hidden in one of the exterior buildings. You're not getting a hologram piece, and it's just for something hidden in one of the exterior buildings per the press release. Now, the building, kind of like I mentioned, it not quite in the way that I thought, but it does kind of open in 3 sections. The middle section is, to me, unfortunate that it's the way that they split it up, but the middle section, when it pulls apart, is just the bar. You don't have any studs or anything to have characters standing on around the bar when you pull the sections away, and that, to me, really sucks. I just really was thinking that it would work like that, and it didn't work the way that I had envisioned it. Oh well, I guess. But speaking of that bar, the design is incredible. They've worked in so many details for the bartender Wooher to be working with in there. And, lots of cups and mixers or whatever you have there in the Star Wars universe in the Mos Eisley Cantina for the bar. And I really love and appreciate that. I think that's really cool how much they were actually able to work into that. As for the seating areas, you have multiple just regular table with a couple of seats. And then you're also going to have a small area for the Bith musicians, which is great that they were able to get 3 in there. Unfortunately, it's not the full, I think, 5 or 6 that are actually in the band, so it is a little bit of a letdown there, much like with the arm printing with Greedo not being there, that you don't have the full band, but I think it's enough. It's not a deal breaker to me for them not to have all 5 or 6 of the exact same character in this particular case. And of course, you do have the area to recreate the famous scene where Han shoots first, and once again, this picture here that they include on the back of the box really just drives home to me that Greedo should have had arm printing in this set. It would have just made so much sense. And while this picture doesn't show it, I kind of feel that Han Solo should have also had dual molded legs. Thinking about it now, it's just one of those things where in the Cloud City set, they gave him dual molded legs. That was $350. This one's $350. The legs that were dual molded in that set, I think, were brown and black. In this case, they would have needed to be blue and black, I believe. But still, where are the dual molded legs? Why did we get dual molded legs last time, but not this time? I guess that's just one place where Lego really cheaped out to help bring down the cost for them, to keep the cost down for us, I guess. But dang, now that I think about it, that Greedo and Han Solo are rather disappointing. Now, there are also a couple of moisture vaporators, I believe, in this set, and these are some pretty hefty ones. They may be the biggest ones I've ever seen that Lego's created. They are really nice looking, very detailed, very accurate to what you see in Star Wars, and I appreciate that there's 2 of them. We also have the Ubrican 9000 pod, which is more accurate than the last version that Lego did put out. I'm moving on to the Jawa shop and the V35 courier, or land speeder here, that we actually see in Mos Eisley just very briefly, but it's there. It's a pretty dang neat speeder. It's pretty low profile, which I really appreciate. It's probably gonna, like, when you actually get this and build it, you're probably gonna be surprised by how thin it is. It looks like it's only a few bricks tall in the midsection, obviously the back being a little bit taller with the engines, I assume, floating back there, but this thing looks like it's going to be surprisingly thin. So just prepare yourself for that, but it's a really sleek looking speeder design and pretty different than a lot of the ones that we've gotten from Lego recently, so that's definitely nice. And then on into the Jawa shop. Now the Jawa shop can actually connect up to the Cantina section, which is great. I'm glad that they actually included that ability because it really brings the whole set together. And the Jawa shop isn't anything huge, but it's still definitely nice to have. It's great for playability, like little role play things. It's obviously not something you're going to recognize from being from Star Wars immediately, like, oh, I remember the Jawa shop from episode 4. No, you remember the Cantina, but it's a nice additional thing in the playset. But all that really leaves me wondering where the Obi-Wan's hut connects up to. It doesn't seem to connect up to anything. Obi-Wan's hut, released in early 2020, had a pretty open-ended backside with clips, and it seems like that's going nowhere. Doesn't seem to connect to this at all, which I guess makes sense, obviously, because Obi-Wan's hut is not next to the Mos Eisley Cantina, but still, I'm just really surprised that Obi-Wan's hut dropped earlier this year, and it seemed like it was kind of hinting and, saying, hey, we're going to have something connect to this, and there's just nothing there. So I'm not really sure what the deal with that is. I would love to ask the designers and be like, hey, what's going on? Why did you have these clips here? But we currently have no idea. The set releases at Lego stores and Lego.com on September 16th for VIPs. It's free to become a VIP, so basically anyone. And October 1st for anyone that doesn't want to jump through the relatively small hoop of becoming a VIP. But now that you've seen everything about the set in full HD, let me know what you guys think about it in the comments section below. If you enjoyed, a like would be greatly appreciated. And of course, keep your eye out for that review. It's coming very, very soon. Just depends on when I get the set. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.